What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of IK NHL Daily Talk. And as you can see, me and Kyle are rocking the mustaches. I've decided to go with a new look for me. So, me and Kyle are going to try the new mustache look. As you guys can see, obviously, I'm trying to grow mine out. But yeah, I'm here with my other host, Kyle Westlincher. Kyle, say what's up.
Hey everyone, and yeah, we're excited to make another episode today. And obviously, we were uploaded a couple reels and a couple shorts. And before we get into news and whatnot, we're actually gonna answer some of the questions. Well, I guess none of them are really questions; it's comments. But I still think it'll be fun to answer them. So on that note, Jakob, I am going to actually go ahead and get started because I have the ones pulled up for my video here. So Canada should have picked Hyman because he's the king of empty net tap-ins.
Bro, these guys are actually rage baiters, bro.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I know we were talking about it, prior to the Olympics and whatnot, and especially after some of the injuries happened. We spoke about, Zach Hyman being a potential option for this team, and ultimately, I guess for whatever reason, they decided against it. But it is what it is, and yeah, I mean, I'm okay with not having Zach Hyman there. I mean, he got some rest, and spoiler alert, he had a nice goal for us yesterday. So yeah, it was what it was. But Canada will come back. I agree. Canada will come back bigger and stronger, and yeah, we'll see. But I have some good hope for 2030's Olympics. The cope. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it is kind of like it kind of is, I guess. Like that's not completely wrong. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, making that video low-key made me feel a lot better. And like, I don't know, I'm not like as upset about the game anymore. So, yes, thank you to Step Into Your Moment for leaving that comment. Um, you wouldn't be subjected to USA propaganda if you didn't live in the US. Actually, for you, by the way, I do not live in the United States. And yes, I know I used the word propaganda. And, you know, maybe it wasn't the right word, but that's what I said in the heat of the moment. And ultimately, guys, I have no regrets. And yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, no. I live in Canada. I live in Fort McMurray, Alberta, which is pretty far away from, even the US border. So, yes, that's an answering your comment back post Pete, which cool, bro. Appreciate the comment. And then the last comment is propaganda, just two countries playing a hockey game. Oops, wait, hold up. Okay, there it is. Yeah, just two countries playing a good game. If Canada had won, it would be propaganda when Canadians celebrated the win. Sounds more like you're turning a game into some liberal ideology fight.
Bro, these guys are actual rage baiters, bro.
I mean, like I said, I probably shouldn't have used the word propaganda, and from here on out, I'll refrain from using that because I want to keep politics out of hockey, and truthfully speaking, it was not propaganda. And like I said what I said, and I said my thoughts, in the moment, and it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, it's like it's true. Like if Canada had won, could have been the other way. And I don't know about, I don't know what you mean by a liberal ideology fight in this case, but
Yeah, that's insane.
I don't know. I'm not liberal. I honestly don't care if you guys are. I mean, I don't mind. I'm willing to have a good, political conversation with anyone. But yeah, from here on out, I will refrain from using the word propaganda in our shorts because obviously, I guess, I don't know. Apparently, people, can't take a comment and not have something to say about it. But anyways,
Yeah,
Jakob, do you want to answer, the comments on your short now?
sure, why not? But I know half of them are rage bait comments. So the first one goes, the better team didn't win, the better goalie won. That's why we played the game. If you guys listen to the thing, I did say that the US was the better team and the US did win. So, I did also mention the better goalie won. Yeah, I was talking about both the US and the goalie, and they were the better team. The next one goes, wait a minute. Goalie spent the whole game on the ice, the last defense, yet when a team loses in overtime, many blame the goalie. What were the other members doing during the previous hour of gameplay?
That's fair, actually.
Who was blaming the goalie?
I
Huh?
don't. I don't think anyone
I want
blamed
to know who was
Bennington.
blaming nobody was blaming Binnington, bruv. Like,
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but nobody was blaming Binnington. Nobody, Binnington was not even mentioned in the they're real. So why are we blaming goalies? What's going on, guys? Like I don't understand, bro. And then the last one goes, yeah, okay, McCarr, McKinnon, David, and Marchand, and you couldn't pull off the dubs. I'm pretty sure the better team did win. I never said the US weren't the better team.
That's true,
So the
Jakob.
better team did win. You guys need to, bro, before you guys give us comments, you guys need to really listen to the short and pay attention because this is like stupidity. I'm sorry, but this is stupidity. You guys gotta pay attention. Like I know this is might be rage bait, but listen to the short before you guys make these comments because half of the probably all the comments that I got were what was the word? Were a joke. Was more of a rage bait than actual truth because even Kyle agrees. If you look, I did mention that the U.S. were the better team. So why are we going pretty sure the better team did win?
Yeah,
Like
I mean, it is what
I'm
it
a
is.
Canadian fan. I'm a Canadian fan, and I live in the U.S. Okay, I understand that, but the fact that I was honest. I was like, yeah, USA was the better team, and they won.
Hmm.
I don't understand why people just go, yeah, pretty sure the better team did win. So what? You thinking I'm? Oh my god, you guys are jokes. I swear. Like this generation is just jokes, bro.
And Jakob fell right into your rage bait. Congrats, you rage baited Jakob. Good job,
Yep,
guys.
yep. Good job, everybody. Good job. You guys are useless people. Just go. You have nothing better to do in life than to go mess around with some people who are just trying to, have some fun. No, you have to go. Oh, yeah. We'll move on to the next thing.
Well, Jakob, I know I find it, bro. Truthfully speaking, though, like for anyone who did leave a comment, we do appreciate you guys commenting because we haven't gotten a lot of comments, obviously, and yeah, no, I appreciate it's just something extra to talk about on the show, and yeah, I like seeing what you guys have to say, and I like to hear your opinions, but obviously Jakob's just too upset with you guys, I guess, because apparently you guys hurt
Make
his
make if you're gonna
feelings.
make comments, make better comments, bro. I need like questions. I need something not. The better team did win. You sound dumb, bro. Like whoever said. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like I'm falling into rage bait. Whoever made that comment sounds like they have not been educated. Like
Well,
listen to the podcast before you make a comment. Okay, like I appreciate everybody's comments. I do. But at least make them honest and not whatever these comments are. I mean, Kyle's was more honest than mine. Mine was just a bunch of rage bait just so I can turn into this.
oh, that's so funny, bro. Nah, I mean, honestly though, like, yeah, it is what it is, but this is pretty funny. I can't lie. I was like, I see your comments, bro, and I read them earlier, and I was kind of laughing at them. I'm like, I don't know if they listened or not, but anywho, yeah, we'll
I don't
move on
think they
to
did
the
though.
the news of today. Then obviously the scores from yesterday, and then the schedule for today, and then obviously your starting goaltenders, and then our picks of the day, which.
Buddy took a long time.
All right, well, here we go. Anywho, we will go up to obviously the first news point of the day, and Matthew Joseph of the St. Louis Blues has been placed on waivers, and I guess he's getting demoted to their AHL affiliate in the Springfield Thunderbirds. Yeah, he's 29 years old, so things are not looking ideal for him. And I do know he was a cap dump from Ottawa to St. Louis a few years ago. But Jakob, would you like to recap his stats here real quick on the year?
Yeah, he's a lot. He scored in 39 games with the St. Louis Blues this year. He has 11 points, 2 goals, and 9 assists.
Yeah, which, I mean, if you look at just the numbers alone, they're not all that bad. But yeah, I'm honestly not sure. Like, I don't understand exactly why, this guy and Matthew Joseph has not been really played a lot by the St. Louis Blues, and obviously, I mean, they must view their other players as being better options, but yeah, I'm not sure personally, and Blues fans, I'd love to hear your opinion on Matthew Joseph. Lucy, if you're watching this, you know, tell Jakob what you think about this move, and we'd
Or
love
just
to
or
hear
just
your
rage bait
opinion.
us in the just rage bait us in the comment section.
Yeah, might as well go for it. I don't mind either way. But, anyways, oh, actually, on yesterday's note, Sonny Milano did claim or did not. He cleared waivers, by the way. So, just a quick update on that. But a second player that we have on waivers for today was Ty Cartier, which I gotta pull it up. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Ty Cartier, the Seattle Kraken. I mean, I know a few years back when he got called up in the Kraken's playoff run, he was kind of like a young guy, and he's still pretty young. He's 24, and obviously, he's not a very big player. 6'1", what the heck? his NHL profile says that he's 5'11 and 202. So I don't know what's actually true and what's not, but maybe one's on skates and one's not on skates or something. I don't know. But
True, true.
Ariak, I'm gonna let you summarize the stats real quick on the year.
He this season with the Seattle Kraken, in 40 games played, he has 3 goals and 5 assists for 8 points.
Yes, and yeah, I mean, I don't like once again, I look at those numbers and I don't look at them and think that they're terrible, but yeah, I don't know. He's a weird case where it's like I don't know. People kind of seem to say like he's too good for too good for the AHL, but in the NHL he's I mean not that he's bad by any means, but it's like obviously he's been sent down and yeah, what can you do? But like I said, obviously in this playoff run when he first got called up in 22-23 for the Kraken, he had 3 goals, 2 assists, and 5 points in 10 playoff games with them when he didn't even play a regular season game. So yeah, I don't know. Jakob, but what do you think? Do you think a 24-year-old Kai Karche on, by the way, this is a first year of a $1.25 million deal. Do you think he's going to get claimed or do you think he's going to clear waivers?
I think he's gonna get claimed. I think, there could be some teams that look at him and value his, look at that. Maybe he's reliable during the playoffs. And, some teams who want to make a playoff push might add a much depth in a player like him so they can, rally and, hopefully he does good in the playoffs for them because he is reliable in the playoffs. So, if any team that wants to, compete for the cup is interested, I would
Mm-hmm.
definitely take him, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely think that, I mean, if I'm an NHL team and maybe my team's lacking depth or maybe I just need a fourth line skater, I would look at this guy right here and I would go, you know what? He could be potentially a really good ad. And yeah, I like Ty Karche and hopefully, I don't know, hopefully if he does go down, he gets called up again soon. But if he not, hopefully, he can go ahead and join his new team and perform really well. But anyways, Jakob, I'm gonna let you introduce this next point, and it's regarding, a player who got sat yesterday for trade related reasons.
Yeah, so Tyler Myers was sat out yesterday because he is obviously the Canucks are looking to trade him as part of their little small rebuild process, but we found out the two teams that, are like neck and neck right now, which the two teams that according to Kyle, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the Dallas Stars and the Detroit Red Wings, excuse me.
The
And
Red Wings?
from what I've seen on Daily Faceoff, it's looking like right now the Detroit Red Wings have the edge of the stick. Looking like, he's more than likely to maybe go there, but do not be surprised if Dallas makes a push as well and, maybe gets him because Tyler Myers is reliable. I can say this as a former Canucks fan, but when he plays, he is a big, strong body and he is not afraid to, make some hits, make some plays, like I would be scared if I was fighting against this guy. I would drop to the ground and cry because this guy is a big body. He's like, I think almost like I generally don't want to know how tall he is, but let's see how tall he is. He's 6'8". Like imagine he could be playing in the NBA for all I know. He's a
Mm-hmm.
big body. So, any team will be like lucky to have him. Any team would be, grateful to have him because he can, stick up for your goalie when, your goalie gets slashed. Boom, you have him who jumps in and, makes a few plays, and he did have a point where there was I believe where he something with him and McDavid related to McDavid. And he was McDavid was trying to fight him, but McDavid was like, "Oh my God, this guy's huge. Never mind," and he ran away.
McDavid in general, I would not want McDavid to fight Tyler Myers because, I mean, we already know who would win that one. Mm.
Yeah,
But yeah,
McDavid would get himself injured like crazy.
Tyler Myers, he's 36 and he's actually from Houston, Texas. So, if he does go to Dallas, that would be like a little bit of a homecoming for him, which would be very nice. Also, Jakob, regarding the Detroit Red Wings, it sounds like, perhaps the Detroit Red Wings actually offered a adequate package that the Canucks were willing to accept, but I guess due to contract terms, he has it's either a no trade list or something or something to do with a no move clause, but he has the option to choose where he wanted to go between these two teams, assuming they offer adequate packages. So, and it sounds like at this point he has said no to going to Detroit. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But his stats on the season with the Vancouver Canucks, which he has been an assistant captain for obviously like last year and this year now, but He's got 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points in 57 games, and he's a minus 25. Ugh. But
Yikes. Yikes.
I think that's more of a reflection on the team though, rather than his personal play. And yeah, I do think most playoff contenders would be happy to have a big guy like this. And like Jakob said, he's willing to hit, he's willing to drop the gloves, he's willing to get in the way of pucks and block shots. And ultimately, he seems like a really good teammate. Hence why he's an assistant captain in Vancouver. But yeah,
Yep.
you have anything else to add, or do you want to move into the schedule from yesterday?
I say we move on to the scores from yesterday.
All right, which I already have the first game pulled up. And you want to go first, Jakob, or you want me to go first?
I would love to go first if that's okay with you. I would love to take this one, but I will go ahead and take this one. The Buffalo Sabres played against the New Jersey Devils, and this one saw the Buffalo Sabres win 2-1. Although there was a nice pregame moment where Jack Hughes got
Mm-hmm.
commemorated by the Devils fans, and Jack Hughes did bring on Tage Thompson as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Buffalo Sabres. He went over to Buffalo to the Buffalo bench and told Tage Thompson to come and join him at center ice so that the fans can commemorate them together. But obviously, of course, the Buffalo Sabres took this one 2-1. The shot total was 30-28 in favor of Buffalo. And we'll go over the goal scoring real quick. Nothing happened in the first period, but in the second period, the man, the myth, the legend, Tage Thompson makes it 1-0. And I will, Buffalo fans, I am happy. You guys should be happy you got this gem of a piece of gem, because this guy, wherever he shoots that puck, 80% of the time he will score, because this guy just magically finds the way. He's a very good offensive threat for. Now we move on to the third period, where Peyton Krebs makes it 2-0 on an assist from Tage Thompson. And then Timo Meyer on an assist from Jack Hughes, and Jesper Bratt makes it 2-1. But unfortunately, that was all that was in the tank. The 3 stars of the game, the first star was Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who allowed 1 goal and had a 964. Tage Thompson, Mr. America himself, had 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points in the second star. And then Jake Allen was the third star, who allowed 2 goals and had himself a 933 save percentage. And now going over to the goalie performances,
You
as
just said
obviously
them,
I've mentioned.
Jakob.
Well, I'm going to say them again just for the future references. But Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen allowed 1 goal on the 28 shots he faced, and on the 30 shots that Jake Allen faced, he allowed 2 goals. And there's your final score, 2-1 in favor of the Buffalo Sabres.
Very good. And yeah, this is a good win by the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously, a very good, pregame wholesome moment from Jack Hughes to, commemorate that. And by the way, I don't know if you saw, but I saw on Instagram briefly is that Penguins fans at PSG, because the Devils are on the road today in Pittsburgh, and apparently they also celebrated Jack Hughes scoring the overtime winner for the United States. So yeah,
Mm.
congrats to him, and hopefully for the Devils they can get some wins because they desperately need them here. And I love what's happening in Buffalo. It's so good to see, man.
Yeah, they might actually make that playoff drought not stop being a drought. They might actually make the playoffs.
Yep.
I
But
will
yeah,
do be on the lookout for them. They are a very strong team this year. So
100%. And yeah, I'm just pulling up the next game here, which some technical difficulties. You guys can just give me a second here. Next time I'm going to pull them all up prior to this. But yeah, the second game, which I will review, we have the Washington Capitals who hosted the Philadelphia Flyers. And fortunately for my prediction, the Flyers did not win because I took the underdog pick. And yeah, the Capitals got the best of them 3-1. They outshot the Flyers 29-24. And, not the worst, but not the best. But yeah, your first your first goal of the game actually didn't come until the second period where Rasmus Sandin gets one for the Capitals and gets them on the board. And this one was assisted by Hendrix Lapierre and Jacob Chitrin. But then we don't see another goal get scored until the third period, and this one came just 29 seconds into the period. Noah Cates knotted it up for the Flyers, and this one was assisted by Travis Sanheim and Bobby Brink. And I guess he tipped the puck in because, I mean, that's what it says right here where my mouse is. But no, nice goal by him, and ultimately got his team back in the game. But then TVR, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, which, by the way, his brother James Van Riemsdyk is actually also still playing in the league in I believe JVR is in Detroit. Correct me if I'm wrong, Yaku, but I think so.
I don't know.
Okay, well, but yeah, Trevor Van Riemsdyk scores his second of the season on a snapshot from presumably the point, as he's a defenseman, but his partner Declan Chisholm assisted it, and Aliaxe Protas got the second assist. And then Protas, he couldn't have 20 assists without having 20 goals too, so he scores on the empty net, shorthanded by the way, and ultimately seals the deal for the Washington Capitals. And yeah, they got the better of the Flyers in this one, and by the way, the season series right now is tied at 1-1, but they still have two more matchups, and both of them being in March, but March 11th and March 31st. But yeah, TVR with the game-winning goal is your first star of the night, and obviously he doesn't score very often, so it's good to see. Logan Thompson is your second star of the night, who had a one goals against average, which he'll have one goal on the night, and had a 958 save percentage. And then Dan Vladar for the Philadelphia Flyers had a 2.08 goals against average. He wasn't on the ice for the last goal against, obviously, and had himself a 929 save percentage. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Jakob, do you have anything else to add?
I have nothing else to add. I wish that I was glad that Logan Thompson got me a win in fantasy. That's all I have to care. But we'll move on to the next game, which saw the Tampa Bay Lightning host the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Tampa Bay Lightning have won this one 4-2. They outshot the Maple Leafs 36-34. And the goal scorers, nothing happens in the first period. And then Braden Point comes back from injury in his first game and scores to make it 1-0. Then Gage Goncalves makes it 2-0 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Then we move on to the third period where Mr. Nikita Kucherov himself makes it 3-0. Mr. Reliable makes it 3-0. And John Tavares on the power play makes it 3-1. And then in hopes of a comeback by the Toronto Maple Leafs, Braden Point makes it 4-1. And then Matthew Knees with just 2 minutes left makes it 4-2, and unfortunately, no comeback was able to be done by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And yeah, Tampa Bay won this one 4-2. The three stars of the game: Braden Point was the first star with 2 goals and 1 assist. Nikita Kucherov had 1 goal and 2 assists for 3 points. And then Gage Goncalves also had a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. And the goaltender performances for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it was Anthony Stolarz, who allowed 4 goals on 36 shots and had himself a 889 save percentage. And on the other hand, for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Andrei Vasilevsky allowed 2 goals on the 34 shots he faced and had himself a 941 save percentage. And good win by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, you want to keep pushing and keep trying to get another win on the column.
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely, they need some wins, as they're definitely fighting for a playoff spot right now in that West. And West, what am I talking about? That's it. They're in the East. But by the way, Yak, I don't know if you noticed, but you said that after Braden Point scored the fourth goal, you said that the Toronto Maple Leafs were trying to start a comeback as Tampa scored their fourth goal. So I thought you said that backwards, and I was really confused for a moment there.
Mm. Oh no, I said it after I did the third goal. After I said when John Tavares scored, I thought that they were trying to come back, but unfortunately they did not. And
Yeah,
yeah,
you'll get to listen to it again afterwards because I know we always rewatch the podcast episodes. So yeah, you'll get to hear what you actually said, but it sounded quite funny. I can't lie to you.
all right.
But yes, moving on to our next game where we see the Seattle Kraken who visited the Dallas Stars, and unfortunately for Jakob, where he predicted the Kraken to win this one, they did not. They lost 4-1 and got outshot 32-19. So, based off the shot totals, the score makes a lot of sense. But we'll move on to your goal scores tonight, which Wyatt Johnston got the first goal of the game for the Dallas Stars, and he had a beautiful tip-in goal near the end of the first period, and this one was assisted by Essa Lindell and Thomas Harley. But then moving into the second, Matt Duchene with his 11th of the season. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Just a minute 43 in, wrist shots it into the net, and ultimately, he beats Joey Decord once again. And yeah, the Stars run away with it. Actually, this would stand as your game winner, by the way. And Thomas Harley got his second assist of the night, but then the third goal of the night for the Dallas Stars, which was also in the second period. I'm just making sure. Yes, okay, it was also in the second period. Was scored by Sam Steele, and I guess he poked it in, and this didn't come too long after Matt Duchene's goal, but this was assisted by Maverick Bork and Justin Hyrokian. Oh, brother. I hope I said that right, but if I say it fast, maybe people won't notice. But anyways, the last goal of the game, also scored by, Wyatt Johnson. I get this shot actually deflected in off of his shin pad, as I did see the replay for this one when I was watching the Oilers game in the intermission recap of the other games. So, yeah, this one was assisted by Miro Heiskanen and Matt Duchene, and this was scored on the power play. But then in the third period, albeit, the Kraken, they didn't go into the night. They had a little bit of a push where Riker Evans ultimately scored his sixth of the year unassisted, but yeah, it just was not enough, and they could not muster up a comeback. But yeah, your final was 4-1 for Dallas. Your 3 stars in the night, Wyatt Johnson with 2 goals is your first star. Matt Duchene with his goal and an assist is your second star of the night. And Thomas Harley with his 2 assists was your third star of the night. And then moving into the goaltender performances, which I will pull up all the stats for you guys. But yeah, we see obviously Joey Daccord for the Seattle Kraken, who allowed 4 goals on 32 shots, so 28 saves, and had himself an 875 save percentage. And then moving on to the Dallas Stars, and I believe it was Casey DeSmith in this one, which it was, and he allowed 1 goal on 19 shots, which means 18 saves for a 947 save percentage.
A very good performance by the Dallas Stars, and unfortunate for the Seattle Kraken, they just could not get the job done. Now we'll move on to the next game, which was the Avalanche facing off against the Utah Mammoth. And this one, I saw Colorado beat the Utah Mammoth 4-2. Goal scorers Parker Kelly will score the first one. Just in the second period. A lot of goals were just scored in the second period, not the first period. Wow.
Ha!
Then Victor Olofsson makes it 2-0 for the Colorado Avalanche. Dylan Gunter makes it 2-1 on the power play. Brock Nelson, Mr. USA, makes it 3-1. And then Dylan Gunter again makes it 3-2. And go into all these goals were scored in the second period. Wow. Martin Necas on the power play makes it 4-2 on assist from Makar and Nishushkin, and that would be your final score. The shot total was 30-26 in favor of the Utah Mammoth. And the 3 stars of the game, Martin Necas was the first star with a goal and an assist for 2 points. Followed by Dylan Gunter's performance of 2 goals for 2 points was the second star. And Scott Wedgwood allowed 2 goals on 30 shots and had himself a 933 save percentage. And for obviously I already mentioned the goalie performance for the Colorado Avalanche, as he was one of the stars, but for the Utah Mammoth, it was Karol Vishmelka who allowed 4 goals on 26 shots and had himself an 846 save percentage. But this one, the season series, Colorado won this one 3-1. And yeah, good performance by the Colorado Avalanche. And it's good to see that, Akar, Nelson, all of them are back and playing still at a high level.
Yeah, no, good win by the Colorado Avalanche, of course. And, I mean, we're not surprised. They're the top of the league for a reason. And, yeah, the Utah Mammoth are going to have to start getting some wins here or they will not make the playoffs. But they didn't get one last night. And, yeah. But moving on, we have the Winnipeg Jets who faced off against the Vancouver Canucks, which the Jets take this one 3-2 in overtime. And, obviously, we have a matchup between 2 bottom feeders here. And final shots in this one were 28-23 in favor of the Jets. And yeah, we'll go on to your goal scorers of the night, which Drew O'Connor actually opens the scoring for the Vancouver Canucks just 1 minute and 58 seconds in, and that would be assisted by Brock Besser. Then Mark Scheifele at just over halfway point, or just past the halfway point. Wait, did I just say Mark Scheifele? I meant Kyle Connor. I don't know if I said Kyle Connor or not. I apologize either way. But yeah, he ties the game for the Jets and ultimately gets them back into it. But then early in the period again, going into the second, Vander Kane gets the Canucks up 2-1. And this one was assisted by Elias Pettersson, which I believe that's EP40 and not DPD for you Canucks fans. But yeah, then, before the end of the second, which there was a minute and 15 on the clock left, Gabe Vilardi tipped in a shot from Mark Scheifele, and this was also assisted by Luke Shen. But yeah, he ties the game for the Jets again, and he keeps them clawing. And yeah, Eric Comrie did the job here to keep the Jets in this game, and he kept them in it for long enough for Cole Perfetti to bury the overtime winner. And Adam Lowry and Dylan Sandberg were the other two on the ice, or maybe not on the ice, but they at least assisted on it. And yeah, they end up taking it ultimately in a 3-2 win in overtime. And yeah, it's a good win by the Jets. They definitely earned this one. And I'll show your goal. Oh wait, I didn't do the 3 stars of the night. I apologize. I'm skipping ahead of myself. But yeah, Mark Scheifele was your first star of the night with 2 assists on the night, and then for the Vancouver Canucks, Nikita Talipalipalo. I don't know why I say Talipalipalo because it's Tolopilo, but yeah, albeit he allowed 3 goals, but he had a 294 goals against and an 893 save percentage. But obviously his performance was still good enough to be a second star of the night. And then for the Winnipeg Jets, their goaltender as well, Eric Comrie, ended up having a 195 goals against average and a 913 save percentage. And those are your 3 stars tonight. And yeah, I will not be going over the player tab, which if you guys want to take a look at it, just go to your NHL app and then click on the box score and you guys can go ahead and take a look at the rest of it. But yeah, Jakob, I'm going to, pass it over to you and the next game, unless you have something else to add about this game, of course.
I have nothing else to add. I'm ready to talk about the next game, which the next game we'll wait for Kyle. Saw the Vegas Golden Knights beat the LA Kings 6-4 in Artemi Panarin's debut.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, that was spoiled, but Artemi Panarin did have a good game, and I will say his stats. But Pavel Dorofeyev opens the scoring in the first period to make it 1-0 for Vegas. Then Quinton Byfield on a beautiful pass by, beautiful 1-2 pass by, Artemi Panarin and Brendan Clark. Quinton Byfield scores to make it 1-1. Then Adrian Kempe makes it 2-1 for the Kings on an assist from Kopitar and Panarin yet again. And Colton Sisson makes it 2-2 for Vegas. Brendan Saad makes it 3-2 Vegas. And this is where the Vegas Golden Knights run away with it. But Riley Smith makes it 4-2. Then Quinton Byfield makes it 4-3 and cuts the lead to 1. But Pavel Dorofeyev on the power play makes it 5-3. And Brent Clark tries to mount up a comeback for the LA Kings and makes it 5-4. But unfortunately, with just 28 seconds left and the goalie pulled for the LA Kings, Ivan Barbashev finds that puck and wrist shots it to make it 6-4 for Vegas, and that would be your final score. Shot total is 25-19 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. And the 3 stars of the game, Pavel Dorofeyev was the first star with 2 points, followed by Colton Sisson was the second star with also 2 points, and then Quinton Byfield was the third star with also 2 points. The goalie performances for Vegas, we'll wait until the tab loads up for Kyle. But for Vegas, it was Aiden Hill, who allowed 4 goals on 19 shots and had himself a 789 save percentage. Yikes. But obviously, when your team wins, you just put that behind you. And then for the LA Kings, on the other hand, was, oh God, what is it with these terrible performances? Anton Forsberg allowed 5 goals on 24 shots and had himself a 792 save percentage. So yeah, not the best goalie performance, but at the end of the day, one team wins and one team loses. And this team, the team that won was the Vegas Golden Knights, and they were without 5 of their players. So it's a shocker that they were able to win this one despite not having 5 key players.
Yeah, and by the way, actually, Jakob, with this win, that was the final matchup between these two teams on the year, and Vegas wins the season series 3-1. And also, a guy who would like to point out for the Golden Knights, Tanner Lazinski, who hasn't played a lot, had himself 3 assists on the night for the Vegas Golden Knights. So good for him, but yeah, I mean, it was good enough, and he spent most of the year in the AHL for them. But we gotta appreciate all the players because we know the players put in a lot of work, and yeah, I mean, you can agree with that, Jakob, I'm sure. Unless
Yep.
unless you have, some crazy objection, but you better not. You better not.
I have no.
Anywho, we'll move on to the last game on the schedule, which was our beautiful Edmonton Oilers. Well, maybe
Well,
not so
not
beautiful,
beautiful. Not beautiful in this one.
but well, not beautiful in this one, but yes, Jakob is correct. And man, a 6-5 loss for the Edmonton Oilers, which the Ducks, at home take this one 6-5, and they outshot us by two. They had 29-27, and yeah, our the defense and goaltending was not up to par for the Oilers in last night's game, and I mean, I really have nothing else to say, but it's like it was what it was. But yeah, obviously you can see here that Coach John Quenneville for the Anaheim Ducks got his 1,000th win. So congrats to him. And apparently this is his 26th season behind the bench as a bench boss. So very impressive to have that kind of longevity and get to stick around in the league for that long. But in the first period, just 13 seconds into the game, Jack Roslovic opens the scoring off of a Matt Savoy and Darnell Nurse assist, and yeah, that got the Oilers on the board. And then at the 9:03 mark of the first, Ryan Nugent Hopkins doubles down for the Oilers and makes it 2-0. And this one was assisted by Connor McDavid and Matt Savoy. But then literally a minute and a half after the Nugent Hopkins goal, Ian Moore scores for the Anaheim Ducks off of a Jansen Harkins and Ross Johnston assist. And yeah, this is where, the game starts to get interesting. And then early in the second period on the power play, Alex Killorn ties the game for the Anaheim Ducks off of a Leo Carlson and Mason McTavish assist. But moving on, before the end of the second period, which just a minute and 15 seconds on the clock, Zach Hyman deflects in a point shot from Matthias Ekholm, and Bouchard would get the secondary assist, but yeah, it was a beautiful goal. And this one put the Oilers up 3-2 at that point in the game. And then Evan Bouchard, with just 40 seconds left in the period, scores to make it 4-2 for the Oilers. And to be honest, at this point in the game, I thought it was over for the Ducks, but I guess I spoke too soon. But yeah, this was assisted by Nugent Hopkins and Connor McDavid. But moving into the third period, the Ducks, put my hopes and dreams to bed pretty quickly in this one, or so I thought, but we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, Leo Carlson scores early in the period, just a minute 30 seconds in, off of a Jacob Trouba, and man, I cannot stop yawning on these episodes. This is two episodes in a row that I've Oh my gosh, I knew he was gonna do that. Alright, shut up, bro. But yeah, this was assisted by Jacob Trouba and Chris Kreider. But then, just not even a minute and a half later, Olin Zellweger, just from the point, just rifles one that goes right in past, Tristan Jarry. And, man, I could not believe that. But, yeah, this was assisted by Radko Gudas and Troy Terry. And, honestly, the biggest impact on this play was, I believe, Ross Johnston was standing in front of the net, screening Tristan Jarry where he could not see it. And, yeah, he had no chance. But yeah, the Oilers get a power play not too long after the Zellweger goal. And really late in the power play, Matt Savoy, after the first unit had been, gone scoreless, ends up putting the puck in. And ultimately, he makes this game 5-4 for Edmonton. And so for Jakob and I, this was a roller coaster of emotions. But this was assisted by Vasily Podkolzin and Ekholm, who got his second assist of the night. But yeah, the excitement was short-lived because less than a minute later, Beckett Seneca off of a Jack... Oh, damn. I keep, burping, hiccuping, yawning. What is going on this episode? But yeah, off of a Jackson Lacombe assist, Beckett Seneca makes the game 5-5. And at this point, the Edmonton Oilers actually pulled Tristan Jarry in favor of putting, Connor Ingram in between the pipes. So, yeah, that was, not a good look for Tristan Jarry, but yeah, he needs to be better. That's the truth. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He was complete and utter ass. He was terrible. And ever since his first few games as an Oilers, he has been terrible. And he needs to step it up because Stuart Skinner, who was a throw-in in that Penguins trade, has outshined him. But moving on to the last goal of the game, which this one was Connor Ingram in the pipes, yes. This was scored by Cutter Gauthier, assisted by Leo Carlson and Chris Kreider. And man, that was like a dagger because it was minute 14 on the clock. And yeah, we left Cutter Gauthier, who by the way has 26 goals in the year, we left him right in front, wide open. And I was just wondering where the defense was on the play. But there you have it, folks. The final score in this one was 6-5 in favor of the Ducks. And your 3 stars of the night, which I don't recall these being the 3 stars of the night when I was watching the recap of the game, but Because I thought Matt Savoy was the 3-star of the night with, his 2 assists and a goal, but whatever. I'll say what's here. So Leo Carlson with a goal and 2 assists for 3 points was your first star of the night. Then Connor McDavid, obviously doing Connor McDavid things. Bro, I'm just tired apparently. I don't know what's going on. It sounds probably louder than my yawn actually is because like the mic's almost right next to my mouth. So yeah.
Oh,
Anywho, yeah, McDavid with 2 assists was your second star of the night, and then Alex Killorn with his single power play goal early in the second period is your third star of the night. And honorable mention to Matt Savoy, who had an excellent night himself, and he had a goal and 2 assists, which I was very impressed with. But yeah, for your Edmonton goaltender performances, we see Tristan Jarry allow 5 on 25, so he made 20 saves and had himself an 800 save percentage, and he needs to be better. He needs to be better. But yeah, then Connor Ingram in his 12 minutes and 41 seconds of game action allowed 1 on 4, so he only made 3 saves and had himself a 750, which, albeit a smaller sample size, was still not great. And then moving over to the Anaheim Ducks, we obviously see Lukas Dostal in net for them, and he allows 5 on 27, which he made 22 saves and also 815 save percentage. So, in a high scoring affair, no good numbers for the goaltenders. But yeah, the Ducks tie up the season series, and ultimately we will see who wins the season series on March 28th when these two teams match up for the last time on the year. But yeah, 6-5 win for the Anaheim Ducks.
yeah. And my word is, it was terrible. That's it. Good night. All right, move on to the NHL schedule of the day because, yeah, that is all that I have for today. Kyle, go ahead and say the NHL schedule, and I will say the starting goalies.
All right. Well, all of these games are on Eastern time with what you see here. So I would have pulled them up the other way, but unfortunately, we started this episode after the games had started, so I did not want to spoil any of the scores. But yeah, your first game on the schedule for tonight, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets visiting the Boston Bruins, and that'll be at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
That is Elvis Merzlikins against Jonas Koprasalo.
Then we have the New York Islanders visiting the Montreal Canadiens, and that game will also be at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And by the way, the next several games will be at that same time, as you guys can clearly see. So I will not be saying the time for the next few.
It was Ilya Sorokin against Sam Montembeault.
Then we have the Detroit Red Wings visiting the Ottawa Senators.
And we have John Gibson against Linus Allmark.
Now we have the Leafs coming off of a loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning last night, facing off against the Florida Panthers, so the other Florida team.
Hold on a sec. I think my daily face-off is messing with me. Where's the oh, here we go. It's Joseph Wall against Sergei Brabovsky.
All right, and then we have the Devils against the Penguins, which I did reference earlier in this episode, and of course we've seen Jack Hughes, get celebrated by the Penguins fans for scoring the overtime goal to win the gold medal.
And we have Jacob Markstrom against Arthur's Shilovs.
All right, then we have the Tampa Bay Lightning facing off against the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina.
That's gonna be Jonas Johansson against Brennan Bussi.
All right, then moving on to the 8 p.m. Eastern Time starts, which this will be 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We have the Philadelphia Flyers facing off against the New York Rangers.
And that is going to be Samuel Urson against guess who's back? Igor Shesterkin.
Oh, wow. Good for him. I'm very happy to see him back for the Rangers, and maybe he can help turn that ship around a little bit, if at all. But yeah, then we have the Seattle Kraken facing off against the St. Louis Blues, and the Kraken are looking to get their get back tonight.
That's going to be Philip Grubauer against Joel Hofer.
All right, then we have the Chicago Blackhawks visiting the Nashville Predators.
And that's going to be Spencer Knight against Justus Anunen.
Yeah, we will not be calling players predators anymore because obviously, Jakob and I like to laugh about that every time because somehow we make it sound weird every single time. Yeah. But yeah, the only 9 p.m. Eastern Time start, and that'll be at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we see the Minnesota Wild visiting the Colorado Avalanche.
And this one is going to see Philip Gustafson against Mackenzie Blackwood. But it's likely to be Mackenzie Blackwood.
All right. Then for your late starts, which these two games start at different times, but we at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we have the Calgary Flames visiting the San Jose Sharks. So I guess they're on a California road trip of their own.
And that's going to be Dustin Wolf, likely against Yaroslav Askarov.
All right. And at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, we have the Edmonton Oilers visiting the LA Kings, which both these teams lost yesterday, so they're both looking to, get their revenge in this one.
And Edmonton, he just won badly because we are now in third behind the Anaheim Ducks and the
Mm-hmm.
Vegas Golden Knights. But that is unconfirmed to be Connor Ingram against an unconfirmed Darcy Kemper.
Yeah, which obviously I will show off, all of the starting goaltenders for all of the games today real quick. I'll just scroll down through it. And yeah, I guess yesterday before the episode, Jakob and I were talking, and apparently these numbers, next to the goalies in the top corners are like their ratings. So I'm not sure how they rate the goaltenders, and maybe we'll try to figure it out. But yeah, I honestly have no idea. But Jakob, on that note, I don't think we have any more news or nothing else. So I will end the stream and I'll put this onto grid mode so they can see both of our beautiful faces side by side for the remainder of this episode.
Yeah, the final thing that we have on is the daily pick NHL daily picks, which yesterday I went 1 for 2. I put Artemi Panarin point, which he got one in his debut, and I put a Seattle Kraken to beat the Dallas Stars. And for Kyle, he put the Flyers to beat the Capitals, which unfortunately that one did not hit. And I believe he put a Connor McDavid something or something
Goal.
related to Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid goal, which unfortunately that's nice. So with that being said, I will let you go first today.
Oh brother. Okay, well, unfortunately I already closed the whole thing, so I'm gonna look at the schedule for today. And ooh, I mean, I'm not looking. Well, I'll try to choose a game that hasn't already started, which, or at least a game that isn't too far in, because obviously the 5 o'clock Mountain Time start games are already well in, and some of those games are lopsided already. But I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Nashville Predators to beat the Chicago Blackhawks, and then
Okay.
for my player pick, I think I'm going to take a JT Miller point from the Rangers.
All right. Well, it's funny enough because I'm actually going to take the Rangers to beat the Flyers today, and I am actually going to take a Steven Stamkos goal.
Oh, so I guess there you have it, folks. Jakob and I chose both our picks from the same game, but I guess the opposite way around. I chose the Nashville Predators to beat the Chicago Blackhawks and a JT Miller point, and then Jakob chose the Flyers to beat the Rangers.
Rangers.
Rangers
The
to beat the
Rangers to
Flyers.
beat the Flyers.
Gosh darn it, I've done this 2 days in a row. But yeah, the Rangers to beat the Flyers and a Steven Stamkos goal. So stay tuned for the picks tomorrow. We will let you know if those hit. And obviously, if you guys decide to make any betting associated with that, that is at your own discretion. All right.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
so
Oh, sorry, Jakob. I'll let you go.
now Kyle has the Kyle. Since I said the question of the day yesterday, it's Kyle's question of the day today for you guys.
Oh, that's a good question. What do I want to ask the people? What do I think is worthy, of the people hearing out of my beautiful mouth?
Yeah, your beautiful mouth. We know.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just say your question of the day, bro.
All right. I should have come up with it ahead of time because I didn't think about it for today, but hmm. All right. I think I got one. And this is towards the fans mostly, but if you guys don't play hockey, then, feel free to answer anyways, but if you guys do play hockey, let us know down in the comment section below what position you guys play. I would love to know,
I
if
bet.
you guys are forwards, defensemen, goaltenders. It'd be great to know. And
Coaches, left bench, right bench,
yeah,
bench warmer,
maybe
E-bug.
water boy,
You never know. So yeah,
backup
with that being
goalie.
said, backup goalie, emergency backup goalie, assistant manager, equipment manager. We have all kinds. So yeah, let
That's
us
true.
know and make sure you subscribe and like. So Kyle, hit us with the outro, please.
Yeah, well, I have nothing else to add. So, yes, thank you all for listening. We appreciate, all the support, and especially with yesterday's shorts, as I mean, we pretty much got a combined 2,000 views between the two of them, so that was very good. But yeah. Anyways, thank you all for listening. We're gonna get out of your hair. Have yourselves an excellent rest of your day and rest of your week going into the weekend, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out, everyone.